Day in Koforidua. Let's build consensus of our values, President admonishes Ghanaians. Journalist goes to Supreme Court over LGBTQ plus a bill. And yesterday we did talk about it right here on Prime Money. You know, some people were actually saying that it's quite strange that this man went to court just yesterday, but we had the president speak on the man going to court a day before the man went to court. So they were wondering how the president got to know this man will actually file a petition in court. Appointments Committee vets ministerial nominees, and yes, the vetting is ongoing. We know that the president appointed some nominees, I think 2 weeks ago, and these nominees are undergoing vetting. And we are praying that if they are capable, of course, they should go through and be able to do the job very well. The Daily Graphic newspaper is the next newspaper I'm delving into. The Daily Graphic. Constitutionality of anti-gay bill challenged. And I think even yesterday or today, I chanced on a video where former President John Ajekum Kufuor was speaking against this LGBTQ. So it's not he was against the anti, but he was speaking against the LGBTQ plus bill, saying that if he was in power, he would have passed that bill without blinking an eye. Ghana paved way for Africa. And this is coming from Utara, and that's the president for Ivory Coast. Malta president arrives for 3-day state visit. 67th Independence Day celebration, Ghana beacon of hope, says the president. Koforidua set alight. The Daily Statesman newspaper is the next newspaper I'm reading. The Daily Statesman newspaper. CDS Africa charges youth over democratic process. Ida Siedu to improve educational infrastructure in Ayenswano. Rejects Muhammad's second coming. And this is coming from, there's a picture of the person there, but there's no name of that person. We worked for our democracy. Colonial rule didn't prepare Ghana for it, says the president, and he did say this in his speech. I'm proud of my records, and Nana also says this. I think he did say it in his speech as well. But, you know, with regards to we worked for our democracy, he cited examples and talking about our voting process. It's not out of, colonialism, but we learned on the job and we've improved upon it. So we'll talk about that when our guests are seated. The final newspaper I'm delving into is the Daily Guide newspaper. The Daily Guide. Western Togoland, Prime Minister, others jailed 17 years. And let's unite to build Ghana, says Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Mahama, NDC boycott in this celebration. But they actually did release a statement, so we'll talk about that. Ouattara hails Akufo-Addo's leadership, and the banner headline, we've overcome economic challenges, says Nana. So our president says we have overcome economic challenges. We have some entertainment story here. Kojo Ntwi's house on fire. Yesterday we spoke about it. It's not easy to lose a property. Trust me, it's not. It's not at all. So at this time, we know times are hard and it's quite a difficult time for Kojo. So Kojo, we are praying with you. It's not easy. We are praying with you. Meek Mill wants Ghanaian citizenship. For what? Can't you visit and go? Anyway, Diana Samoa composes Bawumia campaign song. All right, we want to hear it. It will be nice. Diana is good at what she does, so it will be good. It will be a good one. And let's see what we have here. We have some business stories here. GT Bank, FBN Bank, FX trading licenses suspended. Oh, wow. Okay. Fidelity Bank reacts to FX mismanagement allegations, and Tullow Oil posts $110 million loss. Hey, would they stay? If they are posting this kind of loss, would they stay? Make revenue regimes effective, says TechPay. And let's see some sports stories here. Arteta charges Partey to build on playing time. No magic wand to fix Man U. Oh, Man U, it will be well. It shall be well. It shall be well with you, Man U. It shall be well. Chelsea crab from the Man U. Nana salutes ASEC for President Cup victory, which is African Games participants well. And Bellingham gets 2-game ban for disrespecting a referee. And that will be all for the Daily Guide newspaper. And so I'm done with the newspapers that we have for us. Our guests will be seated very soon. But let's talk about what the president's speech did say. He says that we worked for our democracy. Do you agree with what the president said? Do you think that we worked for our democracy, or you do not agree? I'll read the first paragraph. He spoke about the reason why they actually took the Independence Day celebration to the Eastern region. Let me try and get it. Okay, so this is what he says. Our host this year, the Eastern region, was very much at the center of the independence struggle of our country. It is home to 3 members of the Big Six of the United Gold Coast Convention, that's the UGCC, the acknowledged founders of our nation, Joseph Boachi Danquah, Edward Akufo-Addo, and William Ofori-Atta. Their love of politics would seem to have continued into succeeding generations, with the son of one of them being the current president of our country. The other members of the Big Six were, and this is where people started complaining, the other members, like, okay, so now I'll mention the other members. The other members were Emmanuel Obechebi Lamte, Ebenezer Ebenezer Akweje, and Kwame Nkrumah. So people were like, Kwame Nkrumah is end. Well, that's what people... Because yesterday, I mean, having conversations with people, everybody was like, Kwame Nkrumah is now end. So out of the Big Six, he's the end in there. He's not the main face of the Big Six, but rather the end anyway. And he also did say that... he said, and let me try and get this. I don't want to miss out on it. The other members, okay, and Kwame Nkrumah, who together with George Alfred Grant, R.S. Blay, Kobina Kese, Francis Awuno Williams, Ni Kwabena Boni, Boycott Hine, and others were the successors of the early generation of nationalists, such as the members of the Aborigines Rights Protection Society. So there wasn't much of a highlight on Kwame Nkrumah like we've always seen over the years. Anytime we celebrate our Independence Day, this time round, Kwame Nkrumah became an end. Let's hear your voices this morning on the president's speech when, you know, he did speak yesterday to congratulate Ghana on turning 67 and also saying that we have built our own democracy, not through colonialism, but by our own might. Do you think that we are actually independent as we are being told, or we are still dependent on the colonial masters? Sending your messages to us. We're still waiting. I guess we'll be here very soon. I think the NDC also released a statement to Ghanaians on the 67th Independence Day celebration. And we'll try and delve into that as well. Let me see if I can get some pointers out of that. And says, as Ghana commemorates its 67th Independence Day, the National Democratic Congress extends heartfelt congratulations to the people of Ghana on the significant occasion. Independence Day is a moment of solemn reflection on our nation's journey and resilience in the face of persistent challenges. Over the past 7 years, under the NPP government, Ghana has faced an economic quagmire punctuated by strangulating debt, erosion of disposable income, high levels of unemployment, poverty, inequality, and corruption. To add insult to our injury, the leadership has refused to take accountability and continue to deflect every responsibility. These issues threaten to erode the very fabric of our society and impede the realization of our collective dreams and aspirations. The NDC is deeply committed in addressing these pressing challenges and championing the cause of all Ghanaians. We advocate for policies that prioritize the welfare of our citizens and promote inclusive growth and development. They are letting us know that they are campaigning. Looking ahead, we are confident that under the leadership of His Excellency John Mahama, the next NDC government will be committed to building the Ghana envisioned by our forefathers, a nation of prosperity, equality, and opportunity for all. We will implement policies that create jobs, stimulate economic growth, and improve the lives of all Ghanaians. We will work tirelessly to restore hope and confidence in our nation's future. As we commemorate this special day, let us remember the sacrifices of our forefathers and recommit ourselves to the ideals of freedom, justice, and equality. Let us resolve to resist and break the yoke of the oppressor, the yoke of deception, of irresponsibility, and of prioritizing breaking the eight ahead of breaking poverty and underdevelopment. Together, we can build the Ghana we all want. Long live Ghana. And it's signed by Fifi Fiavi Kwete, General Secretary for the NDC. What do you make of the NDC statement? Let's hear your voice on it as well. So today I've given you diverse things to actually send your opinions on. NDC is saying that under the NPP, we have faced a lot of economic quagmires. We are down 7 years. There's been inequality. We should give them an opportunity so they bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. That is what inequality and equality means. Let me bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. So if the rich is here and the poor is here, they are saying that the poor will come this way and the rich will come this way. So we are bridging the gap. Or probably it will be this way. Maybe it won't be a par, but the distance will not be that big. So give them an opportunity so that they can help bridge that gap, so that they can take us out of oppressors. But who is oppressing who? I don't know if that's what Ghanaians do. Ghanaians, do you think you are being oppressed by the current government, as being said by the NDC? Let's hear your voices this morning. We appreciate you. So let's hear your voices this morning. Our guests will be seated very soon, and these are the topics that we'll be delving into. And I just want you to know why I want you to go to Eastern Region with us this month. You don't know, right? Well, take a look at it.
About the years in which rocks would speak. Those days when trees would come home and get married.
Kwame abo so ba sasie na ne Nyankopon Kwame abo nkwa bo owo within the Yehowa wo nyame mu Nyankopon totrobo nso bo ade wo ne Awurade wo bunkuni twedi ampon yo odoma nkoma na ne Nyankopon Kwame asase wura ogumi nyame e no gura yensukom wo nyame e nya wa ne amen amonso mo we nyame e uto nsuo na abo awia wo chaso nyame wo no epem ye eja do no epem o da sibre Papa do no epem o ane Nyankopon ye we no epem o ye eja do no epem o da sibre ane nyame o ya die ye Awurade o cha so nyame we no epem o kuma nyame wo sa ye.
Today, we take a look at the Adowa dance. Adowa is the Akan word for antelope. The Adowa dance is a Ghanaian Akan dance that is thought to have developed by imitating the strange motions of a sacrificial antelope. The dance is usually accompanied by traditional music with different types of lyrics and could be a praise dance, a dance to send a warning, a dance to shout insult on someone, a dance to display power and dominance, a dance to convey delight, and so on, depending on what the dancer wants to say to his or her audience. It is performed at weddings, naming ceremonies, funerals, festivals, and the installment and destillment of chiefs and queen mothers, amongst other occasions. It is characterized by moving hands accompanied by footsteps, and the dance frequently conveys a specific message. Let's travel to the Volta region. Let's settle for the details of Bobobo. The Bobobo dance is a dance mainly done by the Ewe people from the central and northern parts of the Volta region of Ghana. It is danced notably at marriage ceremonies, funerals, festivals, and other merrymaking events. It was once known as the Akpese dance and was performed by the people of Bando. It's regarded as a social dance that encourages individual expression. This traditional dance also represents Ghana's culture and as a result serves as a sign of identity.
Democracy, our pride. That was the theme for yesterday's Independence Day celebration. Our democracy, our pride. Do you think we are democratic? Do you think we are independent? Do you think we've gotten to the level that we can actually put our hands on our chest and say, we do not need any foreign aid, like we were told, that we could be Ghana beyond aid? Let's hear your voice. We want to activate the phone lines, so we hear your voices this morning. So today is not just about you sending your messages, but call us now. Do you think that our theme yesterday, our democracy, our pride, we should be proud of our democracy? Let's hear your voices this morning. Do call us. The number is on your screen. The lines are activated. You can call now, and let's hear what you have to say about the Independence Day celebration. Ghana is 67 years. Is the independence worth it? Or you think that we need to go back to our colonial masters? Or do you think we are still even under them in disguise? Let's hear your voices. Why do you think we are under them? Why do you think we are independent? Why do you think our democracy is worth celebrating? Let's hear your voices this morning. Call us. The number is on the screen. Let's hear your voice this morning. What do you think about Ghana turning 67? Is it worth celebrating? Don't forget that in the next 3 years, Ghana will turn 70. Yesterday, I saw a post on social media and somebody was asking, who do you think the first lady will be when Ghana turns 70? It was quite an interesting one. Some said, oh, Samira Baumia. Some said, oh, Lordina Mahama. I'm wondering why we didn't hear the name of Chedda's wife, Nana Kwekubediako's wife. I'm wondering why we didn't hear the names of, because there are other contestants as well. You know, we have Afrafranto, that is Honorable Alan Shemating. Why are we not hearing their names? But we are hearing the two political parties that we keep hearing and we keep complaining about. It's strange how we keep complaining about these two political parties, but they're the same political parties that we keep saying they'll be in power. So if you are a third force or a fourth force or a fifth force, do you give up or you continue? Hello, Solomon. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
How are you today?
I'm fine myself.
Fine, thank you. You're calling us from Kolebu, right?
Yeah, sure.
Talk to us. What do you want to say, Solomon?
All right. So, Ghana at 67 years today, I'm not sure it's worth celebrating.
Why do you say?
Looking at our democracy, looking at our economy, telling us that we are independent, I'm not sure we are independent because there are a lot of things that we can't do on our own. Some little things that we are supposed to do as a country, we are not able to do. So why would they come and tell us that we are independent as a country? I'm not sure. They should revisit or they should change their records, check their self-storage. Come back and come and apologize to them for telling us that we are independent and then we can do things on our own. We cannot rely on any other country for help. I'm not sure.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Solomon, for calling. So Solomon says he's not sure that we are independent enough, so we shouldn't celebrate. Well, what do you think? Probably for you, we are so independent that we ought to celebrate every single Independence Day. For you, we have achieved so much. When we talk about digitalization, you feel like, okay, now that I can use an Uber or a Yango or Bolt, or now that I can send money via mobile to somebody, we've moved forward. You know, Ghana is not where it was. And so when we look at times now, you are happy. We have Ghana card. Back in the day, we didn't really have all these things. So for you, you are very content with it. Or you think that we are still not independent because even as we are doing these things, we are still going to our colonial masters to borrow, to use their money for what we are talking about. Because when you borrow, it means it's not yours. Let's hear your voice this morning. The number is on the screen. What do you have to say about our Independence Day celebration? Our democracy, our pride. Our democracy, our pride. What do you think? We are democratic. We should be proud of it. Let's hear from you. What do you think about it? But I remember how I used to march when I was a bit younger. It was quite interesting. I got to hold the flag at a point in time. So I was a flag bearer. That's how we were being called. That's how we're being called, the flag bearers. It was flag bearer. Oh, I think so. Anyway, let me go all the way to Tamale and have a conversation with Al Hassan. Good morning, Al Hassan.
Good morning, madam.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm fine, thank you, Al Hassan. Talk to us.
Yes. Ghana, in fact, we are still not independent.
Oh, why do you say this?
Why? Because looking at the natural resources we are having, God has blessed us with, and then we still go for loans and then other we can't do anything on ourselves. So, to me, I see Ghana as not still in independence.
Right.
That's what I see. Ghana.
What would you wish to have seen for you to say that we are independent?
Ghana, at least, we should at least manufacture our own things, do things independently.
We should do things independently. Al Hassan, thank you so much for calling. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Have a fantastic day. Okay, so we are hearing your voices this morning and what you think about our democracy, our pride. Are we there yet? Our guest will definitely let us know if we are there to be proud of our democracy, or where we are, we should not be as proud as we claim we are. And if they are for the motion or against the motion, definitely they will let us know which side they are on and defend it with their last breath, I believe, because at this point, you have to defend it with your last breath. Anyway, let's not forget that yesterday, the NDC decided to go and commission the National Cathedral. Now, in the year 2021, the finance minister did mention that the National Cathedral was going to be commissioned on the 6th of March, 2024, as if it will not come. It came. And when it came, we've actually seen that, the NDC decided that, okay, if the finance minister then did mention that he was going to actually commission it, they have decided to go and commission it. If you won't do, we'll do. You know how it's done. If you won't do, we'll do. Our guests are seated. I wish I could answer more calls, but unfortunately I can't. Our guests are seated, so let me quickly introduce them to you. On my far left is my very own good friend, Lawyer Kwame Jantuah. Openyi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Very well. Happy Independence Day.
How do we respond?
Eh?
Do we say thank you?
Yeah, say thank you. God has brought the country 67 years. It's not an easy place to be. So let's be grateful.
Right.
Irrespective of the challenges that we are going through. Debi.
Very soon, eh?
If we aren't going to learn from where we've been and where we are today, because where we are today, a lot of things have never happened before. If we don't learn from it going forward, you can't change the past, but you can change the future. So if we don't learn from it, then it's our own challenge.
Right. And on seated next to Lawyer Kwame Jantuah is another good friend of mine, Richard Manuribe. Richard?
Roselyn.
It's been a while.
Felli.
Yeah. Where from the Tete?
Yes, I gave it that name because you're a soldier man's daughter.
And every soldier man is called Tete?
Tete, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know this.
One day.
Telling you.
Okay.
It's your pennies even saying this one day. I hope you're good.
I'm good. I'm doing
You are
very
just
well.
25 years, isn't
I'm
it?
25.
Yeah, 3 years ago you were 25 and today you're still 25.
Yeah. You didn't give birth to me.
Yeah, but 3 years ago you were 25.
She's trying to tell you, so don't go there. Don't go
And then
there.
Ghana is 67. So you didn't even see the days of Kwame Nkrumah fighting for the
How will I see the days?
Yes,
Did
because you were
you see the
very
days of Kwame Nkrumah?
Yes,
Richard Manuribe,
Roselyn.
how old are you?
I'm so many years old.
Wow.
Yes.
What part of Kwame Nkrumah did he see?
I'm wondering.
Which bit did he see?
Hey, Richard. Anyway, Richard says that he experienced Kwame Nkrumah. Maybe today he'll tell us more. But don't forget that in the president's speech, Kwame Nkrumah was the end in there. When he mentioned the big six, it was the end.
But what do you expect for Jack Toronto?
No, please, there's nobody called Jack Toronto.
Oh, you don't know Jack?
No.
I said, what do you expect from Jack Toronto?
There's nobody called Jack Toronto. I do not know anybody called Jack Toronto. I'm sorry.
So if you don't know, so let me tell you.
There's nobody called Jack Toronto, and I will not let you say who Jack Toronto is. Thank you very much. And seated next to me is the Dennis Appiah Larbi-Ampofo, who is representing the NPP this morning. Hello, Dennis.
Hello, Rosie.
How are you today?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. First time.
First time meeting you.
Yes.
Yeah.
First time after.
And I'm sure it's a good time to meet you. I mean, you're in your all African way.
Yeah, we're actually celebrating Ghana, so we'll be in Ghana for the whole month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether we like it or not, like Openyi said, we love our nation, Ghana. So Ghana is ours. We can't throw it away and take another country, whether you like it or not.
Well, we have no option.
You have no option. Our democracy, our pride, it's been the theme for this year's celebration. And, people have actually spoken about it. Some say that we are democratic enough. Others say that we are not. And so we should not even pat ourselves at the back and say our pride with it. Now, what the president did say that if we take an example, which is to do with our elections, we have moved forward. This is not through colonialism, but by our own effort. I don't know what you think about it, but I think our guest has a lot to say. Openyi Kwame Jantuah, let me start this conversation with you.
Auntie. Auntie. What's your question? Anyway, good morning to our viewers. And we hope you had a happy Independence Day and you were able to sit and reflect within yourself where the country is today. But I don't think we don't have anywhere to go. People have options.
You can throw Ghana away?
No, people have options. Are people not going to other countries and naturalizing as citizens of other countries?
But you're still a Ghanaian.
They don't see it that way.
Really?
No.
But everywhere they go, they still say, oh, I'm a Ghanaian. Yes.
Talk to those who have naturalized, and they'll tell you where their allegiance lies. But yes, it's only Ghana we have. And it's up to us to fix it. And your question was?
Do you think we are democratic enough to say that we are proud of our democracy?
The operative word is enough.
Yes.
Are we democratic enough? I think economically we are not democratic in terms of some of the things we do. But the challenge is that, do we understand the word democracy? The word democracy isn't coming to sit on TV and slanging words. That's not what democracy means. Yes, you should be able to speak your mind, but you should be able to also obey the laws of the country. First question, do we obey the laws of the country? Do we have the laws in the country? Yes, we have the laws in the country. Do we obey it? Are we able to enforce the laws? Look, yesterday the president was patting himself on the back that he had done well in certain areas. But when you look at the quantum of money that this government got and what he's done, we could have done more. We could have done more. One thing we haven't been able to do is the fact that we haven't been able to get our institutions to work to our benefit. We haven't been able, and one thing the president really didn't harp on is the fact that accountability and transparency in this country doesn't seem to work. It's a huge challenge. I'm not blaming just one person or a government in power. I'm looking at the Fourth Republic. Yes, there are certain things we have chalked successes in, the stability that we have. He did mention our elections.
He did mention media freedom.
Media freedom. But even media freedom, there are some niches in there that make it challenging. How many media people can sit and speak their mind freely? Very few. The media man who was killed, what's his name? Ahmed Swale has his case been sorted. When you take the three arms of governance, would you say it is smooth? Look at what happened in Parliament the other day. Would you say the judiciary is smooth? Would you say the executive?
Which one? Is it the anti-LGBTQ?
No.
Which of the?
In the beginning of the 2020, look at the fights that went on in Parliament. The fights that went on in Parliament. The slang matches. Because I believe that we've got to a point where sometimes we should sit around the table as a nation to discuss national issues. and see how we go forward. Because you see, there's something called perpetual succession, and one government won't be in power forever. And so when certain things are being done, let's try and do it together so that any government that comes in, they can continue. It's not when any government comes in, oh, this one didn't do my yabuagu, let's do our own. And it happens. This MPP government, if it so happens that they don't win the next election, there are a lot of things that ibebuagu.
Right. So we go back to square one.
We go back to square one, and that is expensive. That is expensive.
Opinion, you did mention that this government has received so much money and they could have done more with the money. What are some of the things that they could have done that we can actually look at and say, okay, I think that with what they've done, we are getting to that democratic enough?
I don't even want to look at the big things. I want to look at the minute little things. Street lighting. Minute, easy street lighting. Potholes in our
Yesterday,
roads.
the president did mention that they had given money to persons to fix potholes in various communities.
Are they fixed?
No, my community, my area hasn't been fixed.
It's the accountability and the transparency of it. You say they've given money. Have you been able to police that the work is done? No. The whole of Accra and most of Ghana is dark at night on the roads. You go to some countries, street lights is like, you don't even realize that it's in the night. I went to Kumasi. The lights at the airport went off 4 times. The airport, no place else but the airport. The lights in parts of Kumasi were going off on and off throughout the day. And that's where I talk about the transparency bit. We are going through challenges. Tell the people that we are going through challenges. The president yesterday said we are turning the corner. Which corner? Which corner? And he mentioned nothing about the challenges that the ordinary man is going through. I would have wished he would have said something there.
I'll come back to you. Let me go to Richard and ask Richard, what are the key things that you think the president said in this speech that reflects the theme of the day?
First, let me say good morning to you. And good morning to Opinion Dennis.
Good morning.
And then a good morning to the group of people from Kwanta South constituency in the Oti region. And His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama says I should say good morning to you and a happy belated birthday to Her Excellency.
He owes me a birthday present too.
Just pass by. You can just pass by.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just pass by.
Who's
Or
the,
from here.
the former president. Okay.
I don't know him. Richard always says that he's greeting me, so.
Yes, he likes you a lot. Roselyn, you know, way back from all the media houses you've worked, he's somebody who follows a lot because he speaks good English. I know the president is a communicator as well, so he listens to you a lot, to be honest. Not to be honest with you.
Former president.
So Mr. President likes you a lot, to be honest with you. And Madam says I should say hi. You didn't wish him.
We did. Yesterday we did.
Okay, today.
Live on TV.
Since I'm here, I expected you to do.
No, you can do yours too.
Happy belated birthday. Even yesterday, I had the opportunity of wishing her on Asampa FM. I was there yesterday.
Oh,
so.
great.
You see, our democracy, our pride. And what did the president see that fix into the democracy?
Yeah.
And
Reflects the theme.
I mean, it's obvious that the president yesterday was very confused. The president seems not to be serious anymore. I doubt if it's Mr. President
How
will
was
know.
he confused?
Oh no. Our democracy, our pride. Where are we as Ghanaians? Where are we as a state? If you look at the corruption and unhappy activities in this country, you don't sit and tell us that our democracy, our pride. So we are just looking holistically. The president, yesterday at Koforidua, the speech and the speech he delivered. I don't know who wrote the speech actually. As Openi just clearly said that if you look at where we have gotten to as a nation, and we must say yes, Fourth Republic, we chose some successes under President John Dramani Mahama and President Mills and President Rollins. President Kufuor did a little bit, and then Adam Kufuor came to set it back again. And that's where we are. So the 1967 Independence Day, Roselyn, you were very young. You were not even born when we had independence. So if you look at what Kwame Nkrumah did, and I don't know, your father was a minister by then?
Yeah.
Yes. So if you look at the developmental project Kwame Nkrumah started, successful government started, and then where we are. That's why yesterday, as we were celebrating the Independence Day, we also going to commission the cathedral.
We'll talk about that.
Yes,
That's another topic.
We'll definitely do that. So for me, I don't see anything happening. I don't see anything being developmental as a nation. Our democracy, it has been submerged. The democracy we know, the Fourth Republic that we built. Yes, understand that from Independence Day, from 1957 to now, we had coup d'etats upon coup d'etats, but the Fourth Republic that the NDC has built and next democracy to where we are has actually been destroyed. And the president has been a key driver.
How was it destroyed?
Oh, it's destroyed.
How?
What are we seeing today as a nation? We live here today, when we pass e-levy and people are in court, the bill will be passed. It will be assigned by the president. But when LGBTQ bill is passed in parliament, the president will wait for court decision.
But didn't you go to court after the bill was passed?
But when I'm just making this point because
no, you said
yes.
said that when the bill was passed, you were in court, but the bill was passed before you went to court.
When the e-levy bill was passed, we went to court.
You went to court after it was passed.
The president assented.
Yeah, after it. So
yes,
you went to court after
but when the LGBTQ bill is also passed, people are in court. Civil society.
No, because let's not forget that even this bill hasn't reached his desk yet. He said it.
So what are you talking about?
It hasn't left.
So what did he respond to it?
But it hasn't.
What is it?
Did you read his response, Richard?
Roselyn,
His response does say that he hasn't received it.
You've been my friend for over 10 years.
Of course. It doesn't take away the fact that we have to give the facts.
You actually being a media person, you should know about crisis communication. When the president tried to run away from his responsibility as a president, if the bill is not has not come to you, why do you respond to it?
Has any member of parliament debunked that?
That what?
That the bill is with the president?
Oh, whatever it is. The president is saying that he's waiting for the court ruling before he can pass the bill.
Let's not forget that in that same speech, he did mention that he has not received the bill yet.
So if you have not received the bill, why do you respond to it?
Because people were calling on his response.
We need it. Ghanaians need it.
And he has responded.
Yes, Ghanaians need it. And I respond to what? Roselyn, will you sit here?
I'm sitting here.
Will you sit here? And Ajua, your sister Ajua, is doing wedding with Akosia and you.
I don't have a sister Ajua.
I'm just making an example.
I don't have a sister Ajua.
So I'm just asking you that if Akosia is doing wedding with...
I don't know why you're asking me this question. Let's go to the facts of the matter.
The fact of the matter is that we had a president who had destroyed our democracy and think that the democracy is his pride. If you know democracy is his pride, he must stand by the democracy. Anyway, he's even going. So there's no need for us to talk about him that much. But we believe
there's a need, because
we believe and hope that we're going to revamp this economy, we're going to revamp this democracy and make it stand. Because where we are today, we are on a crossroad. Our constitution that we talked about is no more working. It's inactive today as a country. And we know that President Nana Akufo-Addo had disappointed Ghanaians. And now Ghanaians are even surprised for the Nana Akufo-Addo we know. The other day I was talking about something. Nana Guy, Nana Playman, Nana this, and prior to 2016 elections, and he was in Harry and those. And this is where we are. You know where we are today, which yourself, he talks about media freedom. Roselyn, I am a member of JHR, Journalism for Human Rights. If I want to count issues that happen in the media enclaves, it will shock you. Today, when you finish talking, you have to change your shirt and go and join another car and go.
Who says?
Yes.
I'm a journalist. I've never changed my
Roselyn, because they don't know your car. You know, sometimes you change the pickup to other one.
No.
You want me to give your car number?
That's not true.
Roselyn, but you know the intimidation of our media.
But the example you gave is not true. It is not true. I am a media person. I don't change my outfit after work.
It is not true when Edward Adeti did a Galamsey exposure, was almost lynched. It is not true when Menashe Azure...
So when you give these examples...
It is not true when Menashe Azure...
But when you give an example,
it is
vague example...
It is not true when Ahmed Swale was murdered in cold blood. It is not true when an European journalist...
I have never denied those things, but I would deny what you just said, telling us that media persons have to change into other outfits and change their cars. That is not true.
I do a lot, if you don't know.
You do?
I do a lot, if you don't know.
So they are looking for you. But what do you sit on TV to say that they are looking for you?
That's where we are. So the media freedom.
Anyway.
The media freedom has been submerged, and the president talked about it.
Okay.
So that's where we are.
All right. Dennis, I know you want to respond to...
No, you want to talk. You don't even want to... Why would I respond?
Rosie, I think that...
I should pose a question to you.
I think that you've made the work quite straightforward. When you have presenters who are ready to put panelists to check and ask the right questions, it makes the show worth it. Why am I saying this? Because you see, when we sit on this table, we are not just here because we are the smartest or because we are privileged.
Let's go ahead and make your submission.
It's because we've had an opportunity to engage Ghanaians and by way of education also share our thoughts. So it is important that what we put out there should be honest. We should tone down the propaganda. You were trying to correct him on the date for the e-levy, and he was still arguing, he was still challenging. For the records, e-levy was passed on 29th March. It was assented on 31st March. It went to court. The suit that was filed by them was on 19th April. So your correction of him was factual, was right. The best he could have done is to accept and then let the education continue. Nobody is above education, and that is a fact. Let's put that e-levy thing down and then the LGBTQ thing down and focus on the democracy.
The democracy, so our democracy, our pride. Let me ask you the same question I asked Richard, because it's your party in power, and obviously you cannot...
Oh, he's in government?
Huh?
He's in government?
I think that you should allow him.
What question are you asking? He's in government as it was?
I thought he's in government.
Rosie.
He's representing the NPC.
Rosie,
oh, okay.
Rosie, I think...
You didn't know?
Yes.
Richard Manuribe.
I think you should.
Let's continue. The same question I asked, which part of the president's speech do you think reflects the theme of the day?
I think that essentially, there is everything we can discount about this country. But when we sit, we ought to boldly appreciate the context. We are not in a flawless democracy. Nobody has said that. The president in his speech did not say that we have arrived. No, he didn't. And that is because the concept of democracy is a growing concept. It's a dynamic concept. For many scholars, they've associated it with a living organism. That means that it grows through processes and circumstances. And that is why for even some of the best democracies in the world, like the Swiss democracy, the American democracy, it is still not flawless. They still have potholes to fill. And that is the kind of democracy we have in our country. If you look at the journey we have come for the last 3 decades plus, our democracy was founded on blood. It was founded on a revolution, a coup d'etat, a democracy that was founded on the toils of people being slain in public, people being brutalized in public by a military regime that was so drastic and head to toe, clamping down on everything that is dissenting opinions. Media freedom was non-existent. The kind of media freedom we have now cannot be compared to the kind of media freedom which did not even exist before this democracy. So
before which democracy?
The Fourth Republic's democracy.
Okay.
Before that, we did not have a democracy at all.
Okay.
Before which, please?
Before this one. Before the fourth one.
The fourth
right before the fourth one.
You're trying to say that since independence.
No, I didn't say that, Mr. Jantuah.
No,
maybe you should be fair to allow me to finish.
No, it's because
Mr.
Jantuah.
Mr. Jantuah, I think that it is unfair that I am in the middle. I'm explaining.
No, I need to understand.
You don't hold me in the middle. You at least calm down and let me explain
what you're saying.
I said right before this democracy, we did not have we didn't have a democracy before the Fourth Republic.
Before the Fourth
And I used the Fourth Republic.
Okay.
So attentiveness could have saved us this. What I am trying to say is that...
He's attentive.
So if you talk about before the Fourth Republic, it would have been other republics that had a democracy. And that's what we mean. That's a reality.
Let him make his point,
Yes.
please.
Richard, I think that you should be fair.
Dennis,
No, very fair, but because nobody's above education.
Richard. Dennis, thank you.
Thank you very much for moderating the show. It puts order to the table.
There is no progress.
So what I'm saying is that before we got here, we were under a military regime, and that's a fact. We stayed under a military regime for quite about a decade, and we did not enjoy what we see. And if you compare us to our neighbors in the region, in the Sahel, you clearly admit that it is not wrong for the international bodies to think our democracy is better off than most of our compatriots in the region. It is because today you and I sit here and we have the opportunity in a private media house to speak our mind. That Richard would come early in the morning and come and tell us that the president, he says that the president is no longer, doesn't seem any serious. The president of the republic, he sits here and tells us that the president is not a serious person. That is because there is a democracy that he is enjoying. And he tells us, and you see, if you try to lampoon it, how do you benefit and enjoy the dividend of it to take the opportunity to call the president not serious?
But we saw your government call the sitting president then incompetent.
I'm coming.
So is it not the same thing?
Rosie,
it's a game that both
Rosie,
parties play.
So when I said he called him serious, I didn't attack him. I didn't do anything.
Okay.
I'm drawing our attention to the fact that it can only happen in a democracy.
Under all political parties.
Before that, I can't say.
But it happened, and we saw it happen.
That is left to Richard to say.
I'm saying it's
okay,
not
no
Richard
problem.
to say.
I don't begrudge you.
Yeah.
Yes. Before now, we couldn't have said that.
No, it's not before now. We could say it in
the Fourth Republic.
Okay, good.
I
If you
keep
say
using
now,
the Fourth Republic.
good. So let's stick to the Fourth Republic.
So if you would want to examine the tenets of democracy, you cannot in any way discredit what we are doing in this country. Because we have been in this country where we've seen the Parliament of Ghana headed by an opposition leader. For me, that is a lot of credit for our country. And not just for MPP, not just for CPP, not just for NDC, for all of us collectively. But the fact that your government is not in power, does not in any way warrant that you discredit what we have built together. A constitution that was promulgated under the watch of Chairman Rawlings.
Let me ask you this. Now, we all saw what happened in Parliament in the year 2020 when we're electing the Speaker of Parliament. It's not because of just democracy. We had a hung Parliament, there was a vote, and the vote actually did elect this man. So it's not because, of democracy that we placed him there.
Rosie, you see, you make the work even much more easier by bringing this. That whole scenario happened because we have a democracy. We could go subject ourselves to choosing from between MPP and NDC men who should head our parliament, even when an MPP government is sitting. And it tilted in the favor of the NDC man. That alone is a lot of justification for us. And I have said that as a student of democracy and politics, no way should any of us attempt to say that it is a perfect system we run in here. But it is a system that allows you and I to have dissenting opinion. It is a system that says that we walk out of these studios without having to look back and think that the military man is going to chase us for calling the president unserious. That is the kind of democracy.
So who instituted this democracy?
So, like I mentioned, this democracy, like the president, if you had the president, I think that...
No, I'm asking you a question. I said,
I'm coming. I'm going to refer to the president because he is the basis of this conversation.
I'm asking you, Dennis, a question.
No problem. Permit me to refer to the president.
Wait, I'm asking you a question. You made reference for the Fourth Republic. So who brought this democracy?
Thank you. So it's not wrong to academically or literature-wise refer to somebody, especially when his speech is the basis for today's conversation.
I asked the question.
So let me continue. Yes, I think that it's fair I continue.
Yes, please.
Yes. The president mentioned something. He says that this is not a result of our colonial architecture. This is something that we have worked for 67 years. It is a product of a work in progress from 1952 or even beyond that, till this date, where every single one of us deserves some credit, starting from our first president, who deserves so much credit for what we have here.
I will ask you the question again.
I'm
Dennis,
still on floor.
I wish I had all day.
I'm still on floor.
I know you're still on floor.
I'm still on floor.
I'm moderating the show. I know you're still on floor. Who brought this democracy?
Ghanaians.
You said under the Fourth Republic. Who was the leader under the Fourth Republic?
Because Chairman Jerry Rawlings. I mentioned that the Constitution was promulgated under Chairman Rawlings. And it was promulgated with you and I involved. So what we have here is a product. And if you realize, what we've done...
Dennis, you were not involved. Your party, your people were not involved. No, see, let's get it right.
Please, you'll get your time.
No.
You'll get your time to actually correct it. Thank you.
Richard, you were given 5 minutes.
Dennis.
And all you could tell
Dennis.
And all you were given 15 minutes was to challenge the host on something you did not know, and she was schooling you.
Gentlemen.
So, like I mentioned,
thank you.
What I have observed is a growth pattern of an opaque box that we use as our ballot boxes some time back, to a transparent system. I have observed a system where Parliament was more of a rubber stamp, but it is no longer a rubber stamp now. I have observed media houses not being able to voice out themselves or their thoughts very well. We have over 500 radio stations, 500 of them, where people can sit anywhere and anyway and speak their mind to government, no matter how paining it is to the government of the day. What that means to you and I is that we have something precious. That is not absolute. That is not finished. That is a work in progress. Okay. For if you have a student in doing his first degree and he comes home with some bad results, you do not throw the student away. You don't throw the baby with the water away. What you do is you correct, you keep on improving, and that is what we should do. But woe betides us that we try to lampoon, discredit everything that we have worked for just because our government is not in power. We dwell on propagandist, populist views just because we are not in government. At the end of the day, it would have all of us involved to suffer the consequences. We have a democracy. It is not perfect, but it is a growing one. That is a very proud one on the sub-region, and the very one that you and I go out into Europe and we walk out our chest out, knowing that what Ghana is doing here is far above what our competitors are doing in the region. You can't call 5 democracies on the African continent and leave out Ghana's own. Okay. No, you can't. No, you can't. Okay. When you look at human rights, you can't. When you look at press freedom, you can't. When you look at elections, you can't. When you look at institutions, you can't. When you look at freedom of movement and freedom of association, you can't. You can't.
It's different. I'll go a little bit into the press freedom, and I'll come to your opinion, Kwame Jantuah. I know you have a lot to respond to.
I have nothing to respond to him.
You won't?
No.
Why?
Is there to respond?
You wanted to make some
in terms of democracy, it's the people who have pushed for democracy. 1992, we said we are tired of this military rule. And everybody thought Chairman Rawlings wasn't going to leave. But he left. So some contribution should go to him. He could have decided not to, and there's nothing he could have done, especially when we were under military rule for 10 years. So it's a collective. It's a collective that everybody put their mind to. But then it being a collective, didn't we see political parties boycott parliament and things like that? Didn't we see it? We saw it. So on that basis, was our democracy strong? Today, is our democracy strong?
That's the question I wanted to ask had to do with the media space. You're saying that for us media persons, we can actually speak our minds. But we've seen some attack on media houses, even in the year 2023.
Rosie, I would not jump to say that there's not been media attack or there's not been flaws or loopholes in our media freedom or our press freedom. It is something that I have observed in even advanced democracies. It is true.
We are talking about Ghana.
Yes, please. It is true that we've had loopholes, but that is why we say it is a work in progress now.
But that's not what the speech depicted.
When
the speech actually depicted that we have media freedom such that people can express
Rosie,
their
please,
views.
have you read the full speech?
Yes, I have.
Do you read the part when the president says that we still have a lot more to do?
But he didn't say that with regards to the media freedom.
No, he said that in regards to democracy, every aspect. So even a greater admission that on all aisles of our democracy, be it media freedom, be it human rights, be it institutional frameworks, we have a lot to do.
All right.
And that is what he says.
Which paragraph is this? Is it, sorry?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please, opinion.
So if we have a lot to do, who is the leader who should ensure that it is done? If for anything at all, it's under his leadership that these things should flow very freely. So if he tells us we still have a lot to do, does he have a challenge in terms of he being responsible to make it happen? He has. The people who were killed in the 2020 election, has anything been done about it?
Has anything been said about it? No.
The challenges we've had in Parliament, has anything been said about it? So in terms of responsibility, it starts with the leader. It's the leader who would channel the people in a certain direction with regards to the democracy that we are looking at. So if you come and stand there and tell me we still have a lot to do, what has been your responsibility? What is it that you have done to progress democracy? Did he talk about it? No, he didn't.
He did speak about, our voting process, which has advanced over years.
Every president who comes has talked about our elections going forward. It's happened with every president. But the thing is, in terms of the person handling our electoral system, where are they aligned to? I would have thought the president, being a constitutional lawyer, would have looked at our constitution again, because there are certain parts of the constitution that don't favor us. The fact that the president has inalienable power, it doesn't help us. To appoint everybody who he needs to appoint, it doesn't help us.
So that part
He
is
links
not democratic enough.
he links into the independence of the different arms of government. He is the same person who chooses judges, isn't it? Is it not an independent part of our governance, the judiciary? Shouldn't the judiciary have a system where they choose their own? In some countries it happens. In the UK, that's what happens. They choose their own. Parliament, doesn't the executive have influence in Parliament? Because he's supposed to choose nearly half his members from Parliament. And isn't it a part of the Constitution that is creating challenges for us? So I'm a minister, I'm in Parliament. Where does my allegiance lie? Does it lie in Parliament or does it lie to the executive? We should go back to the 79 model, where if you are chosen as a minister, you relinquish your seat as a parliamentarian, so that you have strict separation of powers. Do we have strict separation of powers in Ghana today? I don't think so. And I think it's a challenge.
You wanted to know.
I'll come back to you.
Let me check the paragraph you wanted to check.
Yeah, which paragraph is it?
So check page 5.
Paragraph
2 and paragraph 3. He says, we have not got a perfect system. If you check paragraph 3 of that, he says that we still have a lot more to learn, especially when it comes to our tolerance of opposing views. Then he goes on, in the last paragraph, or last but one paragraph of the entire speech, he tells us what we owe to ourselves. He says we owe it to ourselves and the rest of Africa to be the shining black star. We owe it to ourselves and the rest of Africa to continue to have a democracy of which we can be proud of. We owe it to ourselves and to the rest of Africa to be a prosperous nation, and we shall get there.
And so who leads that?
So to your question, I've given you 3 paragraphs that the president directs us to the work ahead of us.
Who leads
That is
it?
not a president who is admitting that we are done yet. That is a president who is saying that collectively
we can do it.
We can do it.
But collectively we can do it. You've been in power for 7 years.
We need a leader.
We've been in power for 7 years, and we have been a part, and you have been a part, he has been a part of a democracy that is growing. And we are committed to continuously sustaining that democracy. And that is why today someone calls the president unserious and nothing is going to happen to him. I can promise you that.
For that in particular, I will say that we have seen your political party do worse. And so for that, you people do it to yourselves.
Rosie, I have told you and I have admitted here.
Yes.
Live on national TV.
Yes.
That we do not have a perfect system. It still has loopholes.
So why is it that you don't want to accept it? So you're talking about Richard Manuribe's own.
I have.
You talk about Richard Manuribe calling the president unserious as though it's never happened before. You have called the president.
I have never called His Excellency John Dramani Mahama unserious.
No,
if you have
what did you say?
You call him incompetent.
Call that person out.
You call him incompetent.
Call that person out.
What is incompetent?
Have you heard it from
Dr. Baumia called him incompetent.
Have you heard it from him?
Dr. Baumia called him incompetent.
Let's stick to the facts on the table.
Please.
The fact on the table is that Richard Manuribe has called the president of the Republic of Ghana unserious, and nothing will happen to him. I will not even attack him for doing that.
All right. Let's not forget that in the year 2016, in the year 2015, we saw the current vice president and his wife call the sitting president at that time.
Do you know why they were able to get away?
Do
you know why it was allowed?
Dennis,
because it's a democracy.
Good. So it has happened with both political
So
parties.
I have not
Richard, you want
him.
to say something? Please
Roselyn,
go ahead.
I am really, really shocked about Dennis, a young man coming up in life.
Please,
With
no.
I am shocked.
Go straight to the point.
Roselyn,
When they are empty, this is how they talk.
Dennis, that is unacceptable. That is complete. Richard, let me handle it. Richard, let me handle it. No, you can't let Richard handle it. I am the moderator of the. No.
He's afraid we'll call him empty.
Dennis,
you are never intelligent than me.
Richard.
And neither are you.
No.
Richard.
Neither are you.
Richard and Dennis.
You sat here calling the president of the Republic of Ghana unserious, and you are afraid that you call me a young man who is coming up and you are afraid I call you empty.
I have served this nation with credibility.
Richard.
Okay?
And I have served this nation with equal credibility. So you give me respect and I give you respect.
I mean, how can you say I'm empty? Do you know what
respect is reciprocal.
Richard,
You don't get it more when you don't give it.
Dennis.
I've watched you interject me several times.
Dennis, we don't do this here.
Then you deal with him.
Richard,
Richard,
let me say something,
Yes.
please. Richard, we don't do this here. We respect each other when we sit on this seat.
Very well.
Joy Prime is a respectable station. I am sorry, we will not tolerate such things.
Very important.
So if you want to do this, please stop it now. We do not do that. We do not call names.
I hope it's for both of us.
Please. We do not call names. No name callings, no insults, nothing of that sort. We respect the platform and we go with that because our audience are a respectable audience. Thank you very much. Richard, make your point.
I appreciate that. So you see, the NPP, prior to the Fourth Republic of Ghana, this country, were not involved in the building of our democracy. The Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, when we were writing the Constitution, the NPP as a political party said it was for the tomato sellers, it was for the carpenters and other things. Openi has a history. He was then involved in this. They never got themselves involved. They have never built even a single contribution to our democracy. And that is where we have gotten to. So if the president tells us that we need to get there, he has never contributed anything. But who can assure you? Look, you talk about media freedom. President John Dramani Mahama, the incoming president of the Republic of Ghana, was then the Deputy Minister of Communication in building the 1992 Constitution. We have contributed, and he himself has contributed massively in the development of this country. So we believe that the democracy we have gotten to is at a setback. And we are going to rebuild the democracy. If you even look at our key policy we are bringing, we're going to build it. You start here, you talk about maybe saying that, you see, I am a student of English, okay? I said the president seems not to be serious. I never said the president is not serious. You heard me say that. Because I am just saying that based on the particular speech he delivered. So I don't want to go there, but I believe that where we are today, we need to do more. And then I believe the NDC, we are very capable of building the democracy. They are not going to give, he's not trying to give us the credit. President Jerry John Rawlings, may so rest in peace, with the NDC then, make sure we build the democracy to where we are. So you give the NDC the credit of building the democracy. And where we are, we need a lot to do in building our democracy. It's clearly shown, and everybody can attest to it.
Right, let me see if I have some messages. I'll quickly read the messages. Before then, I think the NDC also released a statement to wish Ghanaians a happy Independence Day. And I'll read a little bit on what the NDC did say, and then we take opinions on it as well. But we want to apologize if what happened actually did get anybody upset. We are sorry about it. It won't happen again. I know Dennis won't do that again, right?
Yeah, he won't do it again.
Dennis,
I would do it again.
He won't do it again.
He won't do it again, so I won't do it again.
Dennis has agreed that he won't do this again. So the NDC statement on Ghana's 67th Independence Day, as Ghana commemorates its 67th Independence Day, the National Democratic Congress extends heartfelt congratulations to the people of Ghana on this significant occasion. Independence Day is a moment for solemn reflection on our nation's journey and resilience in the face of persistent challenges. Over the past 7 years under the NPP government, Ghana has faced an economic nightmare punctuated by strangulating debt, erosion of disposable income, high levels of unemployment, poverty, inequality, and corruption. To add insult to our injury, the leadership has refused to take accountability and continues to deflect every responsibility. These issues threaten to erode the very fabric of our society and impede the realization of our collective dreams and aspirations. Openyi, would you have loved to hear the president speak about our economic issues during his speech?
Yes, I would have. I would have loved him to talk about exactly where we find ourselves today. Because 67 years of independence, you've got to be able to corroborate where we are and what you have done to contribute to where we are. He didn't say anything. Probably didn't want to bring up controversy, some of the things he had to say, which he didn't say. Because it's a challenge, no two ways about it. It's a huge challenge. Would you say the president has been able to protect the public purse? Will Ghanaians say that today? That he's been able to protect the public purse? Has the president been able to keep to the promises he gave us? Where is my Odo River turning into a tourist site? Where is it? Where is the comment that you made me hail you, that yet you see also come there? Where is it?
At least we've seen the free SHS, right?
Do you know the challenges in free SHS? We're glossing over it. Ask your parent. What parents are going through. It's a fantastic idea. Not his own idea, because where free education has happened, it's happened with successive governments. But isn't there challenges to it? Huge challenges. And nobody should tell me that, oh, we are working it out. 7 years of working it out, it should be near perfect now, shouldn't it? Our public transport system, where is it today? Where is that public transport system?
I think we've done the tap and go. We've heard of the launch of the tap and go, where public transport system is going to go digital. So people will now use a card to...
Hold on.
Yeah.
That tap and go wasn't originally from this government.
It was from who?
That tap and go was put in place by the NDC, President Mahama. There are videos to it. John DeMello and all those actresses were marketing it in buses.
How come it wasn't as effective as we are hearing it today?
Is it effective? Well, what I'm trying to tell you that it's not a new phenomenon.
Okay.
It is something that has happened. And maybe the MPP are making it better. But they shouldn't take it upon themselves that it is their innovation. It is not their innovation.
Okay.
The fiber backbone for internet and co, it wasn't put in place with this government. And you see, and that's where my challenge is. You give credence to those who have done it, and you better it. But you don't throw those who have done it away and make it look as if you have done it. No, it is wrong. Give them the credence and move forward with it.
All right, let me take some comments here. We talk about 7 years of MPP government as though the 8 years of the NDC could grant us all that we needed in this country. On them. All right, on them. Thank you so much for sending your message. Good morning, madam. Tell the MPP man to stop lying to us. We are not children. Okay, good morning, Beauty. You might not have changed your outfit, but trust me, put your ears on the ground, you will hear. Have you forgotten what happened in UTV under the watch of Nana Akufo-Addo? We've seen persons killed in our elections. Talking about our independence, we should be ashamed of ourselves because we cannot even feed ourselves. The ordinary Ghanaian cannot feed thrice a day, and all the NPP and NDC know is to talk. Instead of assuming responsibility of our failed economy, they keep attributing it to COVID-19 and Ukraine-Russia war. Actually, COVID hit in 2020 by economy from 2016 to 2019 was not doing good at all. I think it was doing better before it was hit.
But we were under IMF. Remember?
Yes, we were under IMF.
We were under IMF.
That was we were taken to IMF by John Dramani Mahama at that time.
Yes. But we were under IMF. And when you're under IMF, there's so many things you can't do. When we now got out of IMF, what happened? The explosion happened.
Okay.
Spending left, right, center.
We have to end the duopoly, so persons in the media should allow the new parties to be on their programs so that Ghanaians will hear of them to end the duopoly. I know the small parties will be harassed by the two big parties, but the media can help them make a better Ghana for all of us. We've been in charge You've been in charge of your program, and I seriously appreciate your effort calling your panelists to order. Thanks, George Streeter. All right, George, thank you so much. Let me see this one. NDC 24-hour economy is a scam and 419. Greetings to Honorable Mavis Howard, MP for ASEC and MCE for ASEMA for movements. Okay. Ejapa $12,000 SkyTrain 2,000. Is it 2 million or
2 million?
2 million.
2 million. Okay. And 14 million gone waste. We have the men indeed, Patrick Accra. Madam Host, great job done. The way you've been able to advise a young man, Baba Damongo. Thank you, Baba Damongo. Let me see, which one do we have? Okay. Good morning to you. On the 67th Independence Day Parade, multiple soldiers and security personnel fainted during the ceremony, raising concerns about the possible causes and its security implications. I think that they kept too long.
Yes.
Too long.
Went up to 3 o'clock.
Yes.
It's too long.
Because they started at, most of them were there at 6 a.m.
Yes.
The president arrived at around 10:30. They kept too long. They hadn't eaten till 3 o'clock.
That's bad.
Oh, my goodness.
In the hot sun.
In the hot sun. Several factors could contribute to such incidents, including heat exhaustion, dehydration, physical exertion, and lack of proper nutrition. Authorities must conduct a thorough review of circumstances leading to the fainting spells and implement measures to prevent such occurrences in the future. This may include providing better training on heat management and physical conditioning, ensuring participants are properly hydrated and well rested, and improving overall health and wellness programs for soldiers and security personnel. Eram Beba Kokoko Misa. Good morning, Joy Prime. That's long. NPP, our plague as a country, should reflect on their own performances today and know how badly they have hurt this country. As Ghanaian, prior to Akufo-Addo and his government, no president ever lied to the country on matters of national concern. But today, that is the order of the day. NPP feels more obligated to the party than the country Ghana. By these, they have totally fragmented the country and totally shredded it into pieces. We must purge our dear country with such characters. Since independence, this has been their character, working in every capacity against the growth of and progress of our country because they don't believe in Ghana. Walter Brofuye Drew. Okay. I'll read this one and then I'll come back to the comments later. Good morning to you, Madam, and to your panelists. I hope Ghanaians can now see the intentions of President Nana Addo and NPP party. Before you can be recognized and called a true Ghanaian, then you must be part of the tradition. If not, then forget it. Very soon, Nana Addo will rename Ghana to suit one of his ancestors. Madam, what democracy is he talking about? We are currently more slaves than before. We are slaves in the hands of our own corrupt, heartless, and wicked leaders who doesn't have the nation at heart. They are only interested in their stomach, family, and friends. In fact, our democracy, our pride, our democracy, our LGBTQ bill. My regards to incoming MP for Mion Alhaji Misbah. Madam, I am still on my knees reminding you about the parliamentary candidate Sumani Hamza. In fact, the good lawyer is always too much. How can you talk democracy in the Fourth Republic without recommending Rawlings? I think that he actually recommended Rawlings later. He did mention it. You did, right? Let me come to you because I think
that right from the onset, I had mentioned that the Constitution was drafted or promulgated under the watch of Chairman Rawlings. I just want to address a simple issue of the boycott. I think that it is important that when we get the opportunity, we speak to the facts.
Which boycott?
He mentioned that NPP boycotted the constitutional process of 1992. Boycotts are part of democracies. Let's take that. It's a fact. The boycotts are part. From the time of Charles Boycott to date, boycotts has been an instrument by actors in democracy to express their opinions. And that is why on the 22nd of August 2003, the NDC boycotted the NHIS bill. There's been so many boycotts from both sides of it.
But if you're boycotting and the next day you are the one saying that you are happy with where we have gotten to, it's more of
so maybe, Rosie,
yourself.
maybe you didn't take your time to look at what I was saying. I'm saying that
I took
where
my
we've
time
come from
to listen
is 3
to what
decades.
you said. You said that he said boycott. You're saying that boycott is part of democracy, and I'm saying that how do you boycott something? You're the same person patting yourself at the back at what you boycotted.
For the 3 decades, we've all been part of it. We boycotted in 92 for our reasons, and our reasons were stated. Beyond that, weren't we in Parliament in 96? We were. So it's a journey. What I want us to all collectively admit on this stage, and I have done so by crediting the NDC where they need to be credited. I've not heard any of them mention that for the active voice of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on press freedom, which we cannot take any way out of our democracy. Nobody would give him the credit on this table. Well, that is not my problem.
Which one?
The active voice of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The repeal of the criminal libel law under his watch.
That was then, not now.
Nobody is giving him credit on this table.
Okay.
And I am not even, it's not a problem for me. What I want to assert here on this table is that our democracy is being knitted together, weaved by our collective effort. If you are not in power today, you don't lampoon it. You can criticize it, you can point out the flaws in it, but you don't put it together and tell us that we do not have a democracy or we shouldn't be proud of what we have done together. From the time of Chairman Rawlings to the time of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, every president has been contributive to promulgation of bills or assenting those bills, media freedom, Because I spoke against John Mahama's government when he was in power, and I was never arrested, except a few times where we have flaws and loopholes coming and all of that. What we are saying is that what the president said on the 6th of March is a true reflection of who we are. One part, he tells us where we've come from. One part, he admits that we have a way or we have a place to go, which we are going. At the end of the day, when there is that much of decorum in the discussion, you don't have some of the loopholes coming in. And that is what I want to assert. Boycotts are part. And that is why NHIS bill was boycotted by the NDC. And nobody had a problem with it. Thank you.
Okay. Richard, you have something?
Roselyn, the NDC as a political party never boycotted. It's talk about boycotting of the national health insurance. We brought in an agreement, like our submission to it. You know, President Rollins started with the aged health insurance policy that we started with a piloting project. So when the MPP came in with the mutual health insurance, we were saying that the mutual health insurance is limited to a facility, which I used to work in a hospital by then before. I worked in St. Joseph Hospital in Nkwanta before. So what we were saying that, look, we don't want a mutual health insurance because it's limited with antibiotic drugs. And that's what people understand. So when we came to power, we moved the mutual health insurance to the national health insurance policy. And with that, we even moved the drug list from, the drug list was only 25. We moved from 25 to about 350 drug lists. And that was the regulation of the health insurance policy, because President Rollins started it before, you know.
So it was a successive thing?
Absolutely. So we were trying to bring in contributions that will make sure that the national health insurance policy will expand to individuals. Listen, you know, under President Kufuor, which Nanado was then the Minister of Foreign Affairs and then Attorney General, when you are sick and you are within Nkwanta South, you go to Nkwanta North, you can access medical care. You understand? So those were the contribution. And if you are talking about, we rather contributed for the individual benefit in the national health insurance issue. And that's what we did. It's obvious and the records are there.
So you never boycotted it?
We brought in submissions.
Did you boycott it?
Programs that we make it work well.
So NDC never boycotted it?
We walked away.
What is boycott?
We walked away of not doing a good policy of it. But when we came
why can't we have a system where if a party A is doing this, we all agree with it? Why do we always have to have a boycott? Why is that so?
We as a political party who believe in democracy, we as a political party who believe in building.
It's not a political party, it's the country.
So you know, a party gives birth to governance, you know that. And it's obvious. So any time we try to walk away from parliament, our policies that we are bringing, when the government adapts it, it helps them. But when they don't do, look at the e-levy issues we are talking about now today. It clearly shows e-levy. They were saying e-levy, it's Akubama, whatever it is. And look at where we are today. Meanwhile, we're given a proper policy under which we can raise revenue. Our revenue to GDP in this country is the lowest in Africa, you know that, 14%. We are saying, let's look at the loopholes, the ports, the state institutions where the corruption and all those things is happening, the reduction of government appointees. Roselyn, do you know that presidential staffers and presidential staffers are treated like ministers of state?
Yeah.
They are treated as ministers of state. Yeah, they get every benefit like a minister of state. Presidential aides are treated as deputy ministers. And this government have over 1,000 presidential staffers and presidential aid. So why don't you cut the size of government and make sure you get revenue to develop the country? You see, but rather trying to say that the money I am keeping on my mobile phone, I should pay tax on it.
You think we should change the constitution, opinion? It looks like we have given the president too much mandates to make certain decisions.
Roselyn, I already said it.
Yeah, I think
there's too much in the constitution.
So that's where our democracy lacks, right?
Exactly. That gives the president too much power. And sometimes he can use the power in a way that doesn't benefit the people. But we say democracy is about the rule by the people.
Yeah.
The rule by the people is parliament. And if parliament decides that there are certain laws that the people are interested for them to pass and they pass it, who is the president not to assent to it? Who is the president not to assent to it? That is what the people want. So you say you're in a democratic country, you go by the will of the people. Look, one thing that is a huge challenge for us is service. We get into power and we forget about the word service. We are there to serve the people. We are not there to sit on the necks of the people. When the country was crying, look, where the country is today, we need to go to IMF. Did the president listen to us? No, he left it too late. And that lateness has contributed to a lot of challenges. LGBTQI, who in this country, Ghanaian citizen, I can tell 95% of the people want this bill to be passed. What's the president telling us?
Well, he says it's gone to court, so we should allow
What has gone to
make
court?
a decision.
So does the court always have to make a decision before he makes a decision? Pass it. Let it become a law, and then let us interpret it at the Supreme
But he
Court.
did also say that he hasn't received the bill yet.
Well, when he receives it, if he hasn't received it, then he shouldn't comment about it. What he should have told the diplomatic corps is that I have not received the bill as yet, so I haven't had the chance to go into the bill. When I receive the bill, I would respond. But he rushed, didn't he?
He did actually say that, he's heard the cry of the diplomatic corps and he wants to let them know that the relationship will not be broken in any way.
The diplomatic corps, did they vote in Ghana? Do they vote in Ghana? The diplomatic corps, especially the Americans, were they not the same people who, when the world was telling them to intervene in Israel, they told us that they don't intervene in countries' challenges? So what right do they have to come and tell us when our parliament passes a bill to come and tell us and threaten us? And in fact, the threats that they are giving us, they are wasteful threats.
The Ministry of Finance says that we'll lose 3.5 billion if we don't, 3.8, sorry, if we do not go ahead and push this bill on the side.
You see, we're doing it again. We've gone with the begging bowl, and we are begging.
But that's
them.
what we've been told, that we are already at World Bank.
If
3.8 billion US dollars, we are asking World
Roselyn,
Bank.
let me tell you something. What was the theme for the independence? What was the theme?
Our democracy, our pride.
Our democracy, our pride. So we should say, you won't give us this. We are going to find the money ourselves in Ghana. We are going to find the money ourselves in Ghana. That is the pride. You won't give it to us? Fine. But we will find it.
But won't we be the same Ghanaians to complain when our CD starts depreciating?
Who is supposed to make sure the CD doesn't depreciate? Who?
But if we lose this money, the CD will depreciate. That's what the finance ministry said.
The president said he would protect the public purse. It's his responsibility to make sure that the CD doesn't depreciate. Because you see, we've tagged the CD to an American dollar. We spend dollar in this country, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Isn't the responsibility of the president to make sure that doesn't happen? When you go to South Africa, and you want to pay something with dollar, they'll say, go and change.
Yeah.
Even
in Dubai.
No.
Go and change it to rand. Yeah. Does it happen in this country? We even hear our parliamentarians talk about dollar in parliament. So if the city is depreciating, who caused them?
We clear
Who caused
the ports with dollars.
But who caused some? Who caused some? Why should that happen? We should be able to put our foot down and say to ourselves, cedi is the currency of this country. Nobody can spend dollar. In fact, government has said it. Do we adhere to it? And Roselyn, we can't only point finger at government. We the people too are responsible.
We are responsible for it.
I'm pointing a finger at President Nana on that screen. 1, 2, 3 fingers are pointing back at me. It goes to show that I have the maximum responsibility to adhere to the rules and laws of this country.
All right, okay. Dennis, let me ask you this. This anti-LGBTQ thing, that was not signed, or the president did not append his signature to it, although he hasn't received it, he's saying that we should wait for. It looks like it's caused a lot of uproar, and people think that we are still under the colonial masters, because they threaten. A few hours later, President is speaking, yet he doesn't have the bill.
So, Roselyn, I think that if you studied the posture of the president for a very long time and you put politics aside, this is a man whose commitment to rule of law and the respect for structures is very high. This is not the first time the president is being holded on a bill. In his 7 years, recently, the Armed Forces bill, he did not. He had to go back to Parliament. So he has a track record when it comes to wanting to be detailed wanting to be rule of law concerned. What has been the situation on the LGBTQ? It is a unanimous concern on this table and in Parliament. On the second reading of the bill, 5th July 2022 or 2023, nobody in Parliament went against it. And in fact, on the third reading, nobody in Parliament voted against it. There is a concern by every Ghanaian that this bill must go through. But if you give yourself to democracy, you must know that it has rules and structures that comes with it. That structures include people's liberty to proceed to court, people's liberty to raise concerns, even when 90% agree. That 10% still have the right to raise concerns. Then we can still use our democracy to have the 90% will come to pass. What is the situation on that?
But is it not surprising that the president's statement came 24 hours before the person went to court?
So if you listen to the president, he says that he's had concerns. He's had concerns. If he had come to him and he had said he won't sign, even though he has not received any court ruling or court summons, then we have every right to say that you are being double standard. And I was happy when you brought in the e-levy timelines, which is not the same as this one. Secondly, if you look at the Ministry of Finances...
But he also said that somebody has gone to court, but the person had not gone to court.
It
took the person 24 hours to go to court.
I'm coming. If you read the Ministry of Finance's recommendation to the president, I read to you point D. He says, leverage on the Ghana Beyond Aid principle and change the structure of resource mobilization. We must improve our domestic resource mobilization effort by working towards a medium-term revenue to GDP target of 17 to 18. What this point says cascades into what Mr. Jantuah was saying, or Councillor Jantuah was saying, that we have a responsibility. The Ministry of Finance is telling us that we predict that this bill will go through. But if it goes through, we have a responsibility, a collective one, that internally we will find a way of mobilizing our resources. We are all saying the same thing. What the only difference here is that the president says that, one, it has not gotten to my desk. Two, I am told that someone is in court. Whether the person was in court by then or not is immaterial in this moment, because the moment there is an expression of intent, it tells you that there is still some level of smoothing we ought to do as a people.
I wish the president's speech had been intent that the person is about to go to court, but rather not the person has gone to court.
That is why I'm saying that, Rosie, it is immaterial in this moment because, one, it is not even on his desk.
It's not immaterial.
If it was...
It's never immaterial.
Do you know why I believe it's immaterial?
Said, and the president's words are very strong and powerful, said, I have heard that somebody has gone to court.
So clearly the president did not say, I have received summons. He said he's heard.
No, but you see, this is it. Anybody that...
So is it possible to have heard that? Is it possible? Do you admit that it is possible that the president could have heard that someone is in court?
Can you, as a president, verify before you speak?
Rosie, that is why... You see,
that is what you are when you are today.
Rosie, hold on.
We did not put you there to base on hearsays.
Exactly.
We put you there to verify you have people who have surrounded you.
Rosie, I perfectly understand you.
Exactly.
I agree with you. But the question is that, has he not assented to it when it is on his desk? Then we call into his hearing ability. Then we call into his verification ability. If he has not signed whilst on his desk and he says that he's heard, then it means he's based a national decision on what he's heard. He has not based any national signing on what he's heard. That is a fact. Second is that the president has said that it will never happen under his watch. And we all agree, all parliamentarians agree. I do not enjoy this LGBT thing because I don't see the point of difference. We are on the same page as Ghanaians. All that is at stake here is we allow our structures work. The same president who went to court and abided by the court ruling, which was against him in 2012, is saying that let us allow the process run its course. And that if...
But most of the judges have left. Most of the judges there right now are judges they appointed.
They are still judges with credibility.
I didn't say they are not credible. I just said...
So there's no point.
You did say that in 2012, and I'm saying the judges, some of them have changed.
And I'm saying that there's still Ghana's Supreme Court of credible competence.
Very, very credible.
And so there's no point in questioning it. All we are saying is that, do you know that this bill, it is not originally like this? This was not the state of the bill. It has gone through process.
Of course.
Our process is our natural way of sieving.
You know, the statement that you read from Finance Ministry
Yes,
saying
please.
that we should be able to build our own economy to a certain level. In 2016, we had a president say that this is what was going to happen to Ghana, and that is why they gave him the opportunity to become the president. How are we hearing in 2024 that the president is saying that the Finance Ministry is telling us that we should now build it?
Rosie, the fact remains that you do not build an indigenous economy that is self-sufficient in 7 years. The United States of America, the most powerful
But that's not what
economy.
you told us.
I'm coming. We never said we build an indigenous economy in 7 years. Nobody said that.
What did you say?
We said that we would start and we would initiate. And that is what we've done. That is why we have 169 factories under the 1D1F.
Excuse me.
What we are saying is
order.
please, let me please finish. What we are saying is that building the Ghana Beyond Aid is not a today going to happen magic thing. Nobody said it's going to be a miraculous thing. All we are saying is that we have a collective responsibility. Our collective responsibility is to be able to commit to the building of a Ghana Beyond Aid, such that one day IMF will not threaten us, US will not threaten us, that if you, as a sovereign
But
country,
they have threatened us.
That's what I'm saying.
7 years into your power,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They have always threatened this. They've always threatened this. They've always used this tactics. But what is left to us is that when you say you are ready to rear a monkey, you should have a veranda for it.
Let me ask you this. That's my final question, then I come to your opinion. The president has just about
10 months.
10 is even too much, about 9 months to leave power, to leave office. He stood on campaign platforms and told us he was going to take us to Ghana Beyond Aid. He told us that Yetisikaso into accommodating. He told us he was going to put monies in our pockets. 10 months down 10 months for his he's pulling out. That's how the soldiers call it. You pull it. So 10 months or 9 months to your pulling out. You tell us that it is not it's not easy to do it.
Rosie, first of all,
you had 7 years. You're telling us
Rosie,
that's what we were told. Though.
Rosie,
I'm a voter.
Yeah,
so.
Rosie, first of all, the use of the to preposition contextualize the whole statement and puts it in a different phrase. The president did not say he's going to take us to Ghana Beyond Aid.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he did not say he's going to take us to Ghana Beyond Aid.
He said what?
He says that we need to work towards a Ghana Beyond Aid. So what is the situation on the grounds is that Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah started the process to take us to Ghana Beyond Aid. Presidents after him continued. The President of the Republic of Ghana now, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, says that the free senior high school policy, the one district, one factory policy, the recruitment of our teachers, the recruitment of our nurses, the Agenda 111, the roads, the 11,000 kilometers of roads, unprecedented, is to enable us work towards a Ghana Beyond Aid. Okay. That you and I will charter for ourselves.
All right.
At the end of the day, he has never stood on the platform to say that he's completed whatever he hoped to achieve. Neither am I saying that. All we are saying is that enough progress is being made as a country.
Okay. Openi, you wanted to say something earlier.
Do you want me to read my true or false again?
Please go ahead.
You want me to read it again? Okay. And tell me if he did it or he didn't do it. I shall protect the public purse. Has the public purse been protected? How much money have we sent into the cathedral? Ajapa, how much money?
12 million US dollars.
Has he protected the public purse? I am too old to steal your money. I already have my own money. We don't know whether he's stealing money or what, but we know quite a lot of money has gone waste in his government. Yet to seek us to come there. Are we still not hungry? He says there's money here, and we are hungry. Are we still not hungry? Are we not worse off? Try me and see. Have you not tried him? Are we satisfied?
But you have seen, he said we should see, we are seeing.
Are we satisfied? Are Ghanaians satisfied? Take a straw poll. Go out and take a straw poll of Ghanaians and ask them, are you satisfied with President Nana Addo? You see what people will say. I am not corrupt. I will never be corrupt. Has he been able to handle corruption? One thing he didn't even mention yesterday was the menace of Galamsey. Has he been able to do anything about it? Are we still not in Galamsey and it's destroying our lands?
We spend millions
he
of
says,
dollars on it.
He says, and this is another, he says, I can develop Ghana without borrowing. The money is here. Has he not borrowed? Over and above what any other president has borrowed. And this is the point that Dennis was
the Ghana Beyond Aid.
against it. He says, Akufo-Addo said, I will transform Ghana in 18 months. 18 months. Have we been transformed in 18 months? Has Ghana been transformed in 18 months? He said it. I didn't say it.
We are still in the transformation
I'm taking,
stage.
no, how long does it take, my dear? How long does it take? You should see some snippets of progress going on.
Oh, but opinion, we've seen digitalization, haven't we?
The basic tenets that make people live a comfortable life, where is it? Can we afford 3 square meals a day? The size of a kenke in 2016 is it the same size of a kenke 2014? Are the prices still the same? Let me go on. I will fight corruption with the Anas principle. Where's corruption today? It's one of the highest things in this country that we are struggling with. I will not operate a family and friends government. Is that true? Is that true? I will make the Kolo Lagoon and Odo River tourist sites. Are they tourist sites? That was what I was asking initially. Where's my Odo River and Kolo Lagoon tourist site? Where is it?
How much money was pumped into it by
Billions.
the sanitation minister then? I think there was 48 million, right? Yeah.
Dollars.
$48 million was pumped into it. To dredge it.
I will build a factory in every district as it happened. I will arrest the dollar as the dollar being arrested.
But well, when you speak to them about that, they'll tell you the reason is because of COVID and Russia-Ukraine war, which hits Ghana so hard. And that is why
tell that to the
$1
Marines.
is to 30.
Tell that to the Marines. Tell that to the Marines. Is it only Ghana that was hit by COVID? How many months did we go into? Did we stop the economy running? How many? Was it the entire country? Wasn't it only Accra and Kumasi? And you're trying to tell me. You see, the decay started 2017, 2018, when the what do you call it? The World Bank and co. were warning Ghana about its debt levels. And that is where the challenge has been, at debt levels, the extreme borrowing. Was the extreme borrowing got to do with COVID? What's it got to do with the Ukraine war? Huh? Because what were we doing? We were trying to shield a naked city with borrowing. And what happened? He says he won't borrow, but he borrowed. Let me continue. The hikes in fuel prices will be a thing of the past. How much is petrol today?
13 cities.
When they came in, what was petrol price?
I don't remember. What was it?
It wasn't 13 cedis.
You don't remember?
It wasn't 13 cedis.
Yeah, it was.
I will make Accra the cleanest city in the whole of Africa. Is it the cleanest city? Is it?
We are almost there.
Almost where? Rains are coming. Let's see. The rainy season is coming. Let's see what would happen. I will build 111 district hospital in 18 months. Has it happened? 18 months. I will build 350 new secondary schools from scratch. Have we seen the 350 new secondary schools? Have you seen it? Dennis, have you seen it?
Some have
Richard,
been
have
built.
you seen
I
it?
think the STEM schools. There are some STEM schools.
Listen.
There are some STEM
listen
schools
to what
that
he
have been
said.
built.
Listen to what he said.
Uh-huh.
I will build 350 new secondary schools from scratch. Complete. Not I'll build some. I will build 350. And last of all, we will never go to the IMF for bailout. Have we not gone? So then you ask yourself, has the president been truthful to us by his comments?
Anyway, some comments on Facebook. Lazarus Atanga says, it's true, the NDC is the best for this country. Jonathan says, good morning, Roselyn. Why are you scared to say what we are being oppressed by Akufo-Addo and his cohorts? Oh, come on. Nothing is working in Ghana. All that they want is capturing all the assets of the state for themselves and their families, yet unborn. Wickedness at all times high. Okay. Aaron Bebakoko Misa, good morning to you. I think I've read Aaron's thing already on WhatsApp. So Kofi Ivory says, we knew our problems before voting you to power. We don't need the president telling us our problems all over again. All right, so I have some comments here. Good morning, Rose. Please ask the NPP man if he know the history of the Fourth Republic before talking about that. God punish the NPP government. Hey, please relax, why, Loris? We beg you. Madam Host, as the NPP young man is 2028 Ghanaians killed, he should speak about that too. The AIDS has blood, not water. Alaji Hamza Pikvab, good morning, Roselyn. I think we should be truthful to ourselves as a nation and speak the truth for once. In my humble opinion, we are not democratic enough. What is happening in our country today is so shameful to say the least. Yielding to the pressure from the Western powers makes nonsense of our independence and democracy. Madam, I'll urge you to copy a book entitled Dark Days in Ghana, written by Nkrumah, and you will feel sad for this nation. We spent a lot of resources to celebrate our independence whilst we're being controlled by the Western powers. In my opinion, monies that was used to celebrate the 67th birthday should be channeled in buying beds for our hospitals, for our wives and mothers to deliver and sleep on. The problem I have with this government is that they always feel they know it all, but know not. Good morning, my sister. In fact, we have been oppressed to the highest. How can you take 10% tax from my salary? Then when I move the money to my phone and I momo to my child in school, government will take e-levy, momo to my mom e-levy, momo to my wife e-levy, momo to my church as tithe e-levy until the salaries finishes. Why? Solomon Katamanso. Hi, Rose. Happy anniversary. However, there's little to celebrate after 60 years of independence because we are greedy and corrupt leaders who only come to power to enrich ourselves at the expense of the citizens. In the abundance of resources, Ghana is still HIPIC country, trading our national pride for gay proceeds. Cried the beloved country, Pawili, a citizen, not a spectator. It's sad that after 67 years of gaining independence, Ghana has not been able to liberate itself fully from the colonial masters. We still depend on these same persons for financial support to be able to stabilize our economy. Independence goes beyond organizing grand celebrations and engaging in monologue of self-justification and deception. Our leaders have failed us as a country, and there is the need for all well-meaning Ghanaians to rise up and fight to ensure these sort of corrupt leaders are kicked out of office. Daniel Akbaliok, Sandima. Good morning to your viewers. Today, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will be naming his running mate, and I want to appeal to him. He must choose someone who is independent and resourceful so that for the eventuality, the running mates can help the party. Number two, the school feeding program is causing a problem with the beneficiaries in Keta. Those who cook for the school children are complaining bitterly that government has refused to pay the cooks. MPP can't break the 8. Abochi Philip from Keta. But Abochi, I think 2 days ago or something. Oh, you are such a princess. Happy birthday to my dear queen. I pray that God Almighty should protect you. Have a blessed day. Oh, you're so cute. Happy birthday, princess. You're so pretty. Happy birthday. All right, let me go to my comments. Why? Hey, princess, you don't want to go for me to go to my comments? Okay, I have to go to the top. Yes, that's true. I don't know how come I forgot. All right. So, good morning to you and your guests. They are wasting money to celebrate Independence Day, but no money to pay NAPCO trainees over 9 months arrears since 2022 till date. We are disappointed in this government. Why this deception? Tell the NPP man that they should settle our arrears because there is money. We will not allow our money to go free. Dennis.
Yeah, Rosie.
They want their money. That's not me saying, that's them saying. Let's continue deceiving ourselves that we are independent. Our independence is just a written document like our laws that can't do anything from Ablade Fiekuma. If IMF loan to Ghana is meant to promote such an evil LGBTQ+, we prefer to die in poverty. Okay. Oh, okay, the birthday wishes will take it to Esiedua to do it. So we'll come back to do some more birthdays. Esiedua will take us through the birthday journey. Okay. Let me see. Don't worry, the birthdays you do, okay? Okay, so I think there's more messages up here. All right. Okay, so good morning, Madam. Good morning, Madam. In fact, this government, upon all the challenges and difficulties, they have implemented a very solid policy like the free SHS, which was depriving other intelligent students. Now these people can go and learn for their future, and people surely break the 80. Daniel Abose, okay. Good morning. I always say the alternative is scary. NDC is not capable of managing the affairs of the country, and people will surely break the 80 with good national policies. Daniel Ablikuma Central. Madam Host, yesterday's Independence Day was wasteful and useless because if Ghana is subservient to the Western world and the Bretton Woods institutions, then Ghana is not independent. Tanzania's president last year cancelled their Independence Day celebrations and saved money to help salvage other sectors of the economy, which is worthy of emulation by our president. Akufo-Addo is extravagant. That is why yesterday's independence celebration still happened in spite of our economic meltdown inflicted by Akufo-Addo and his government. Akufo-Addo will be the most corrupt. Okay, we hear you. Let me see. Hey, somebody says read. Boss, I'm coming. I read, okay? All right. So it says, good morning. I always say that. Okay, I've already read this one. The one who said read. Let me see. Is it long? Okay. Good morning, Roselyn, your panelists. Please ask the NATO NPP guy when was his first time in voting, because he kept mentioning I have witnessed. Also tell him to be respectful to this on the show and what services. Okay. Don't worry. UK1 Atibi. He's fine. We've sorted this one out already, okay? So thank you very much for sending your message. Roselyn, the president, when he says Ghana beyond aid is a vision, not a magic statement that happens within seconds. Mr. Jantuah, transformation is a process. Okay, Roselyn, who drafted the 1992 constitution, the NDC, all these flaws that Mr. Jantuah is happy to point out was made to protect the extrajudicial activities of Rawlings. The Constitutional Review Committee came out with a comprehensive review of these flaws that gives us so much power to the president. Mr. Mahama issued a white paper to throw away 88% of the recommendation. If there is blame to be placed, it should be placed squarely on JMD. As for Mr. Jantuah, criticism does not build a criticism does not build a CPP party. He should use His Excellency to organize his dead. Akosi Gariba from Tamale. Good morning, Roselyn. The NDC man started the insult. If every insult is wrong on any day and any time, but I've observed that the NDC guy always starts the insult to provoke the NPP guys. I'll plead with hosts and various programs to stop any insult from anyone who started. No insult is tolerated here. Thank you so much. The NPP guy who is talking, can he also do it for the family people doing it? The people who spoke Ghana? All right, sometimes the English can overwhelm me. All right, let's see what we have here. Good morning, Madam Roselyn. For the information of the... Hey, please keep it simple a bit for me, okay? Uninitiated, Ghana established with controlling interest the following assets from 1957. With these industries were operating, these provided jobs for Ghanaians. The NDC inherited all of them, and they came to power through the coup d'etat of 31st December 1981. This was Ghana's industrial base at 31st December 1981. By January 2021, Gasem cement shares sold to Norwegians, Kwame Nkrumah catering rest houses sold to NDC cronies, and it's a warm cannery sold 31st December Women's Movement, Kanda GNTC sold to NDC cronies, Atlantic Hotel sold by NDC. All right. Hey, Edosu, this one is a lot. Okay. All right. So I will have to halt this currently because we have a breaking news, and it's actually coming from the NDC. I think John Dramani Mahama has made a statement. Let's take a look at it. So it says, for immediate release, the leader and flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, is set to meet the party's National Executive Committee today to submit his nomination for running mate in accordance with the NDC Constitution. Earlier this morning, Mr. Mahama will present his nominee to the Council of Elders. Today's event marks a critical step in the party's preparation for the upcoming general elections. The NDC Constitution requires that the party's presidential candidate to nominate a running mate in consultation with the National Executive Committee and the National Council of Leaders. Mahama and the NDC are dedicated to building a formidable team that will work tirelessly to advance the interests of the Ghanaian people and reset the country on a path towards recovery and a prosperous future. Selecting a running mate is an important decision, and John Mahama is confident his nominee embodies the values and vision of the NDC and will contribute to a successful electoral campaign. As leader of the NDC, Mr. Mahama remains committed to representing the interests of all Ghanaians and building the Ghana we want together. For media inquiries or additional information, please contact Joyce Bawambotari. Good morning, Joyce. Anyway, let me take our final comments and then we can go. But I'm wondering who this running mate will be. Dennis, any idea?
That question is...
Who will scare you? Who will scare the NPP?
Oh, but you see, Rosie, let's be honest with ourselves. The NDC has not changed much. The same old NDC that left this country in ditch without any reason in 2016 is the same thing. I expect that it would be Professor Nana. She was my vice chancellor back in UCC.
Okay.
I expect that. But you see, Professor Nana is not much of a match for anybody. I mean, that's a fact.
For you?
For anyone, actually. Even the CPP can handle Professor Nana. Even the CPP.
When you say even the CPP,
because the CPP is weak.
The CPP is weak?
Yes, it is.
To you?
It is weak.
To you?
You heard what
it's to the person, to you, but it doesn't mean it's weak.
To me, CPP is weak. It's a fact. You can play around it. Mr. Jantuah will not smile at this one, but that's the reality. The CPP has a lot of work to do. It's the same as the NDC's Professor Nana Opoku-Agyemang. What exactly did she add to the ticket in 2016 and 2020? Zero. So for me, I expect her to be named. I'm sure a lot of us have predicted that, and I expect her to bring nothing to the ticket. If she brings nothing to the ticket, it will be same John Dramani Mahama who told Ghanaians that he's not a magician to provide them a job. It will be the same John Dramani Mahama who instituted the 3 months pay policy. It will be the same John Dramani Mahama who ran the NHIS down. It will be the same John Dramani Mahama who ran a government that could not even stand on its feet amidst all the things that he had. No pandemic, nothing against him, nothing international. Okay. But he still ran this country down.
Okay.
So it will be the same John Dramani Mahama. Unfortunately, it will be ties Ghanaians, and God forbid it in our lifetime, again, that he gets back to the Jubilee House. It will be the same 3 months policy.
Okay. Richard.
So, Roselyn, as the statement said by Honorable Joyce,
she's a very good friend of mine.
Okay, that's fine.
Me too.
The NDC today will announce our running mate, and then I can assure you that we are coming up with a running mate who is very capable, a running mate who has credibility, a running mate who will not sit here and lie from his teeth like a running mate that have been chosen before. And we have confidence in the running mate that is coming up. He mentioned Prof. Nana Opoku-Agyemang. This is a lady, a very learned lady, who talk about both local and internationally, a French scholar and an English scholar, a former vice chancellor of the University of Ghana, former education minister who supervised building 4 new universities of the Republic of Ghana here. That today his brother is in US. One of them is in renewable I think in Sunyani, and other schools. This is a former minister who migrated polytechnic to technical universities, and if you look at his credibility, is there. And he sat here talking about His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, who obviously Ghanaians are going to endorse. Roselyn, you are a voter, and I believe and know that you vote for President John Dramani Mahama. No, I believe and know you, because with the current situation, you have to vote for President John Dramani Mahama, who has left this country with a stable economy, that if you look at his credibility and the policies he put in place in this country, which everybody knows that this is a man who is a nation builder. If you look at the airports, you look at the airports he's built in this country, you look at the roads he's built in this country, you look at the hospitals he's put up in this country. I've always said that one of the best hospitals in Africa is the Legon Hospital, the Quaternary Hospital we had. And it's clear. If you sit here and talk about what he doesn't know, I mean, He should go and know it well. So as to who comes and who doesn't come, the NDC and President John Dramani Mahama is electing an announcer or running me today.
Okay.
That we're going to build
We
a
are
robust
wishing them
economy.
well. All right.
And they will come out with a 24-hour economy with the policies we are going to do. Because Prof is so...
Okay.
If Prof is
I have to
announced...
go to open in my time. So, thank you.
I'll tell Dennis, do you fear some?
I saw that coming.
Do you fear some? Think of your own. Leave the CPP.
That one is true,
No,
you know.
deal with your own. Do you fear
CPP
some?
is struggling.
You know something? I don't understand a party that does not believe in a vice president and is commenting.
Nobody
I don't understand
said
it.
that. Nobody said that.
What is that? What did your vice president say? He's a mate. He doesn't have power. So where do you have the I don't use the word.
Use the word for CPP, Mr. Jantuah.
Where do you have the effrontery to talk about vice president? When you don't believe in, when you are not taking responsibility for what your vice president has done to this country. When? Who are you to talk about another party when you don't believe in vice president? When they asked you, you should have said no comment. No FT, no comment.
Oh, we have
I'm not commenting about it because you don't believe in a vice president. And I hope when they're going to use the vice president, aren't they?
Yeah, everybody will.
That will also be a mate.
Rosie,
Everybody will bring a mate. Anyway.
Rosie, we're definitely going to have a
Be a
comment
mate.
if it is that one.
Anyway,
Be a mate.
all right, thank you so
Rosie,
much for being here,
from Jane,
gentlemen.
from Jane,
I don't have the time though,
The
so a
same
big
old
thank you to you, Kwame Jantuah, for being here. Super grateful.
you.
Richard Manuribe, thank you so much, and Dennis Appiah Larbi-Ampofo, thank you too for being here. Super grateful. We have enjoyed the news flash segment. We hope you did too. Keep your comments coming in. We'll come again tomorrow with other topics. However, coming up next is What's Trending with Asiedua. My name is Roselyn Felli. Do stay.